charitable, but even nonprofits are trying to make money and get money. So the bottom line is, how do you get that? And how do you leverage social to get that? So I think that should be one of the first questions that is asked. What is it that you're trying to do with what products? And how can we get you to be sustainable so that now perhaps you can start to turn your attention to a lot of ancillary products or services that you might have. So once you know that, and tie that into your vision of your company or your culture, now you can have the messaging. And you can also figure out, hey, where do these people hang out, on what social platforms, that have a need for what I'm selling. Then you know what platform to start delivering your message to.
So if I find where my people are at and I'm getting the right message to them, and, as you mentioned, I want to get some sales going, right? I have revenue goals. I've got a plan. How do I sell on social media?
Oh, man. You know what? I think that's really tough because, a lot of times, there's a lot of ways that you can sell on social media. Now that a lot of the platforms are starting to open up for you to have an online store, Instagram and Pinterest, and I think some others where you can actually sell for people that have an affinity towards your product or your service. But a lot of times we're using social media also as an outreach to try to draw them to our website. And now that's a sensitive area because you might be responsible for getting people to the site, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to convert. And that's where it comes down to an issue of knowing how to sell. And I think that the divide between sales and marketing it needs to be erased. You need to know how to sell. You need to know how to talk to your people. And once marketing gets them into the door. So I think the more that marketing understands that, I think the better the messaging will be, and a lot better the conversions will be as well. But
I love that. With the sales and marketing, and particularly for social media, thinking about getting them into that door, thinking about getting them to your website, and kind of taking that first step is really powerful. Making sure that everything kind of flows smoothly, especially, you mentioned the messaging and the branding and really connecting with that audience. And if you're doing that all very clearly and effectively with social media, that's a great first step to the sale.
You're right, it is. But it's not an overnight thing, too. And I think a lot of businesses are like, they pay this money and they're like, oh, where are the results? Where are the results? And I've had this happen where, traffic has been driven to the site and there's no conversions. And that makes me wonder, okay, could there be a problem with the site? Could it be a problem with their whole sales approach? And I don't know. I don't want to paint myself as like being some great evangelist, or I have the answer. But think of it.
They have to work harmoniously. They have to work together. And if one step in that machine isn't working or functioning, the whole machine goes down. You don't get the sale because everything's focused on that one goal.
Mm-hmm.
So digital marketing is a team sport.
You're exactly right. And what's so funny is I was actually on a panel. I hope the person on the panel is not listening. But I was on a panel the other day, and the person I was on a panel with is like, hey, I really feel as if SEO is really it. That's all. That's the most important thing. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, wow, okay. And what scared me was you have a lot of companies that will go that route. They'll say, you know what, I need SEO, and it's going to get me noticed, and the sales are going to start flowing in. Well, I tell you, I have a client on the first page of Google in 3 separate places. First place on the Google Maps, first place, he's on the first page for his website, and was the first name on Yelp, which is also on the first page. So you can see his name in 3 spots, almost no traffic. Now you would
no traffic?
Almost
first
no
on Google, first what?
Yeah, but you know why? See, this is the issue I have, because think about it. You hire an SEO company, they go, we did our job, boom, we got you to the first page. Good luck. They're paid. They're in the wind. A good marketer would look at that and go, whoa, you're not getting any traffic. Why is that? Well, it just so happened, this happened to be a cardiology practice that is referral based. You don't just, look up a cardiologist on the internet. You're referred to a cardiologist by your primary physician. So think about it.
I don't look up cardiologists on Google.
Well, exactly.
That makes sense.
People don't. Even if someone says, "Hey, Megan, let's I want you to go to this. I'm going to recommend this orthopedic surgeon to you, and here's the number and schedule an appointment." Since when are you going to go online and say, "Well, let me check out the orthopedic surgeon's website"? You're not.
Well, I go to Yelp reviews for that. One bad Yelp review on the orthopedic, and you're done for.
Forever have a
going back to that social media presence, but
it's true. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, it is true. They have to work.
This.
I think we're going to have another episode about marketing strategy or maybe digital marketing mix. Yeah, just talking about that. That's a big topic. And I think you're right. You have to have everything working together. Whether it's SEO, whether it's social, whether it's email. They all need to be helping each other out.
It
does.
So
if we're looking at social media and we're saying it's a waste of time, or you're saying, it's not a waste of time, it's important, and you can be listening, and you can even, start driving your traffic and your sales. There's a lot you can do with social media. How much time should I be spending on it?
It really depends on, how many platforms are you on, what systems are you using. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that can be automated and really cut down on your timeline a lot, but the average company that has a dedicated digital marketing staff spends 20 hours per week on social media alone. Now,
whoa.
Yeah. Now, I manage clients, and what do you think the easy thing to do for me is to manage all of them and totally forget about my own marketing on social media? So I'm doing that as well, and it's a full-time job. And I sat down with somebody the other day, and we're going over the numbers. Actually, it was a seminar. I was teaching a seminar, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, how do you dissect all these numbers? What they mean? Engagement, reach, and followers, and how do you know what's important and what's happening?" I'm like, exactly. That's really the difficult part. Getting the content out there. Once you have your messaging and your vision, getting that content out there is, it's not easy, but it's not the hardest part. The hardest part is being able to dissect those numbers. And if you're a business owner and you're trying to dissect the numbers and figure out what's going on, what's happening, why is this happening, why is my competition doing this, and they're having success and I'm not, there's a lot of different factors that go into that. And that's where an expert or, a thought leader or somebody who knows what the hell they're doing comes in and can save your company a lot of time. Does that make sense?
Sounds pretty impactful. Yeah. I mean, that's what I worry about the most is how much time to put into my social media. And I mean, to do it well, it's not a quick fix.
No. No, it's not. And I do got to say this, Megan. I mean, you're kind of, usually you and I are going back and forth. You're kind of interviewing me. And I do have to say that I do admire the fact that you said, when we first met, you had really thought about social media because you do email marketing. And I like that you're open-minded enough to say, well, I kind of think this is a good approach. And now I'm maybe changing my feelings about that. But a lot of people can't do that. They are stuck in saying, man, website design is where it's at. SEO is really, no, social is going to get you all the, and I'm just like, okay, let me keep this PG. I'm just like, come on.
Well, I think when you talk about why it's important for a business and how to set strategies and goals for it, that's what I see missing in social media. And I mean, even with SEO, the example that you have about the cardiologist, they didn't have a good goal on why they wanted to do SEO because getting on Google doesn't help their business. But I think that your approach with looking at what your business goals are and how social media is going to get you there is really the right way to be looking at any marketing channel, but particularly social. because you can get lost. You can take a lot of time. It can be expensive. It can be all-consuming. And if you don't know what you're going to get out of it, it's not worth doing it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I think I probably see maybe only 20% that actually do it correctly.
Ooh. So what's the differentiator between the people that are doing it right and the people that aren't?
I think the people doing it right are actually engaging with their audience. They're giving them information that interests them. I mean, think about it. When you meet somebody, all right. So let's let's pretend, we're out celebrating the Cubs win, and I'm like, hey, I'm Frank, and you're like, hey, I'm Megan, and I just proceed to tell you all about me. Yeah, hey, I drove out here from Naperville, and man, I go to a lot of these games, and hey, I run a company, and hey, what do you do? And you start talking like, oh, and by the way, this is what I like to do, and I'm just talking about me. What are you gonna be? You're gonna be like, what a total ass, or
yeah.
jerk.
I'm gonna probably walk away pretty quickly.
Exactly.
Not wasting my time with that.
Yeah, and social's the same way. So. But if you come up and I say, hey, Megan, what is it that you do? Wow, email marketing. So tell me about that. And how do you see that?
I love talking about myself.
Exactly. But you also like people having an interest in what you're interested in.
So shared interest. So
yep.
Socially, you're looking for listening to what everyone's talking about. You're engaging with your audience by shared interest. I love it.
Right. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Cool. Well, I have one more question, and this is hitting home for me personally, and I'm sure you'll have an opinion on this. But how do I differentiate my personal profiles and my business profiles? Because I'm pretty sure, I don't want everyone to see pictures of my dog, but I want to promote my business. So how do I do that?
Well, I can only speak from.
Is there a differentiation there? Yeah. How do you do that? Because you have a very large social presence and a fantastic business.
I actually struggled with it, and I'll tell you. I have. I'm a big believer in Twitter, and most people that have heard me speak about Twitter have come away going, "Wow, I'm really missing the boat by not engaging more in Twitter." So I had a business Twitter page. I had a personal Twitter page. My personal was really growing. My business was not. And I finally realized that people were connecting to me as a brand. And this is part of, I think, being mature enough to realize that maybe you don't have all the answers, because a lot of other social media thought leaders that I actually respect had a personal brand, and they would have their business on the same page. So you were connecting to them as a person, but in the banner picture, it was the name of their business. I'm like, okay, I get it. So people know that you have a business, but they're connecting with you personally. So I got rid of my business page, and I promoted myself with my company logo on there. So that was all for business. And then I said, okay, how do I get people to really connect with me as a person, not just putting good content out there that relates to their interests, but how do I get them to connect with me? And actually, that's where Instagram came in. So I haven't gotten as big on Snapchat yet, but I'm getting there. But I used Instagram to give a behind-the-scenes look at my life, and it's only until recently that I started to really step up and use the video feature to give my little tips and tricks and give people an idea of a day in the life of a social media marketer. And people have just been, my profile has, I think, my engagement has gone up like 300%, and I have 42,000 impressions, and it's been going crazy. So that's how I differentiate the personal. So Instagram has been more of a personal with a little bit of business mix in there, like I advertise this podcast on Instagram. And I keep my Facebook page and my Twitter to be more professional.
Wow.
And
LinkedIn? LinkedIn's got to be professional, right?
Yeah, LinkedIn has to be. You'll see. I've seen some profiles that look anything but they Yeah, and the funny thing is, a lot of people don't realize this. You can actually use social to connect with people that didn't know who